It's 40 so that at least now we can start. I was also late, only 2 ideas from the beginning. So good morning, all of you. Just a delay from my end to upload the submission link from today morning. You can upload the and I set the cutoff time as the 11:30 tomorrow morning, tomorrow night. That till 11:30 p.m. tomorrow, you can submit your Are there any groups unable to upload before the deadline? You will do manage. In case if you know of any group, just ask them to contact me personally. They have my contact number in the handout. You can get my contact number. Ask them to contact me personally. I will consider to extend the deadline maybe by 1 or 2 days without reducing the mark. So rather than just keep quiet or not contacting me, ask them to contact me. Otherwise, without this CA mark, it's very difficult for you to continue and complete this subject. And in this session last week, I thought we completed it, but to see there are few slides that we did discuss. I will take 10 to 15 minutes, all is than that, to complete that. And we can move to the other topics that's added. Right. We were talking about facilities, location, planning. Don't wait for me. You remember? Right? It's about selecting geographical places, the most suitable geographical places for the operations facilities, such as the factories, warehouses, or distribution centers, dealers, the retail shops, and all. And for that, we understood that it's a very important decision that affects both operations activities up to this and all the other business activities. So we understood that's a very important decision that should be decided carefully. So this process that has 3 steps, they give managers kind of idea how to make this decision in a systematic manner. First of all, it says in relation to the location, managers should identify some key factors. We call them key success factors or key locational factors to consider. It could be very from one business to another, one industry to another. We discuss that. And considering those factors, the second step is to identify potential places, alternative locations for people. Rather than just selecting one place straight away, select a few places to consider before those tracks. Initially, it could be a little longer list, maybe 10, 15, 20 places. This should be shortlisted. Then into the most suitable, let's say 3 places, 5 places maximum, 7 maximum. Shortlisted places should be then evaluated in order to select the most suitable place. These 3 steps will give management an idea how location decisions should be made in a systematic manner. In the third step, when it comes to location alternative or evaluating location alternatives, there are commonly used techniques, methods for that, and the list contains here. The list contains various different most popular techniques used, out of which we discussed only one, that is the location factorating method. This, hope you remember, right? So we understood what that technique is and how it can be used to evaluate different locations and select the technique. In addition to that, there are other techniques that we are not going to discuss in detail, but one more technique at least, that's what we call not necessarily break-even analysis, right? Because you are familiar with break-even analysis as accountants, as financial management specialists, right? So you are familiar with BAP. So using fixed cost and the variable cost and then the contribution, you can make decisions about different places. How we can understand, right? You can estimate cost accurately, because the fixed cost and the variable cost. From location to location, that could be varied. Then you analyze the BEP, right? And depending on values, you analyze and select the best place. But here, BEP, more than BEP, something like this particular technique is called crossover chart. What is it? Crossover charts that we use to compare the total cost of different locations. In a simple example, we will quickly try to understand what it is, how this can be used to evaluate locations to select the best location. Right? So, a very simple example given here, right? And this technique is called crossover charts, also known as the cost volume analysis. Now, this analysis is based on fixed cost and the variable cost of each location. That's the difference. Now, then how we can understand to use this technique, what we need to know as decision makers. We should know about the fixed cost and the variable cost of each location that we consider. And we are going to use them in our calculation and then select the best. As you know, as you can see here, there are few steps that will help us making this decision. The step number one, for each alternative location, decision makers should estimate the fixed cost and the variable cost. Which could be little challenging, as we know, right? Estimating the fixed cost and then, of course, total variable cost for each. That depends on the material cost, labor, energy, and other utilities, right? And then put them together and calculate the value. Okay, this is the per unit variable. Fixed cost, of course, a total value would be the cost of land, construction cost, right? Such main fixed cost. When add together, we get the FC. So when we have those two figures, fixed cost and the variable cost for each location, then what we do is, for a given output level, we calculate the total cost. This is the example you can understand. And in this technique, we plot the total cost curves on one graph and graphically solve it. And that is called crossover charts. Now, to understand it, just refer to this simple example mentioned here. So we can see, right? So we can see, this is a laundry, clean clothes cleaners. They're considering 4 possible sites for their new operation. Location A, B, C, and D. Now, they have estimated the fixed cost and the variable cost for each location that are given here. And likewise, you will be given in exam also. So, different locations, fixed and the variable cost, and other details. If calculation is there. So then it says they expect to clean 10,000 garments. Right? In the sense, they are going to operate at 10,000 capacity level. The table below provides specific cost factors for each location, fixed and the variable cost. Now, if we are to use this crossover charts, or what we call cost volume analysis for this matter, this is what we should do. First of all, we need to calculate the total cost for each location. This is it. So you can calculate the total cost. Now, what we should do to calculate the total cost? We should consider the output requirement, that is at 10,000 level, 10,000 units. What is the total cost for each location? And that is starting point. Now, as you see here in this table, so this is how we can calculate the total. Just check the table and hope you can understand. Location A, fixed cost 350 plus variable cost at 10,000 capacity level, 5 into 10,000, 50,000. For each location, you can easily calculate the total. The next step is, as you can see here, plot those total costs for each location on one graph, as shown here. Draw a graph and show them on one. Now there are 4 cost curves. A, B, C, and D. And then graphically solve it by looking at the crossover points. Now, what might ask? Can you understand? To draw this total, at least we need 2 figures to draw the line. Now, we have one figure that is at 10,000. Now, this is the quantity axis here. And this is the total cost curve, total cost axis. Now, take for example, location A at 10,000 level, we know the total cost 400. Where is the other line that other point that we can draw the cost curve? At least we need 2 points to draw a line. That is at 0. When quantity is 0, we know the total cost equals to fixed. That quantity 0, TC equals to FC. Then we have one figure here at 10,000, we have total. By drawing this, we can draw that. Right. Now, graphical following this means, now we look at which quantity levels one total cost curve crosses over the other. Now, from here to here, somewhere up to, let's say, you can see it here, 4,667. And graphically, they identify. Now, up to this point, which total cost curve is the lowest? When we plot those 4 total costs, we identify up to this point, it is the cost curve of location C that is the lowest. This is one crossover point, and there is another crossover point here. So up until this point, it is this range 4,667 to 9,000 units. Total cost of location B is the lowest. And beyond that point, it is the location of A. That is low cost. So by practically solving it, we can identify at which points, at which quantity levels, the total cost may be reached. Such a simple technique That is called crossover. So now we will be able to suggest the management something like this. The best alternative up to this point, that is 4,667 units, is location C. And between that and this point, that is 9,000, this location is B. And beyond that point, the best location is location A. By using cost of time, 6-time variable cost of each location, and this can propose. That's that. Is it clear? Now consider their requirement. What is the output requirement as per the information? They are going to operate at 10,000. The capacity expected. So we give a general suggestion like this, but particularly consider their capacity requirement. Your specific suggestion, they are going to operate at 10,000. Which location is recommended? Site A. Site A, because beyond 9,000, that is location A, that is our global. Write it down, and that is how you can use this. That is enough, I think. We talk about two techniques. There are many other techniques used for this purpose. You can see there's a technique called load distance model. Hello, good morning. And center of gravity approach. Those are continuity techniques. And then, of course, the NPV analysis for decision trees for transportation. That cannot be here. Those are commonly used techniques. Coming to the NR, we discussed this next time. Coming to the last slide here. Try to complete the various topics. We can quickly almost at the end. Now here, reasons for location changes. Now, at the beginning, we identified facility location is a long-term. Once a place is selected, business might not be able to change the place for their factory, for their warehouses, or showrooms, retail shops. Right? Once the place is selected, they cannot change it. But there is some reason location changes are unavoidable in the facility. They will have to change the location. So, in the long run, businesses might decide to change the location of their factories, their warehouses, their showrooms, due to various different reasons. Here, we identify few such reasons. One main reason could be to expand capacity. When the existing place is not enough for the factory, for the showroom, to expand, they will look for a better location. Most of the factories may be starting at a small scale and producing at a small scale, but when the demand grows, they need to expand the capacity for which the old place is not enough. This is applicable for manufacturing. Just think of small boutiques or department stores. If there are no enough parking facilities for ever-growing customers, they will change the location. Expand the business, they will change the location. House of Fashion, they initially located somewhere close to here. Move to a better place, spacious place, giving and providing better customer service for various different market segments. Understand? Here, when they operate from here, no issues, no parking facilities, every time crowded. Right? So to expand operations, they shift. So as some hospital, hotels, restaurants. When raw materials are changed, sometimes changing the location may be advisable. Especially factories which are located close to some raw material sources. Now, over a period of time, some natural resources may be over. So that no longer that location is advantage. Some natural resources like minerals or the water sources or any other source. When they are no longer needed, they can easily change to better place. Now, say for an example, water purifying and water filling, bottling company. Usually, I don't know whether they are really located in mountain areas in a spring from where they find pure mineral water. That is how they describe from where they filling water, right? So when such place is no longer available, so they might have to take by for better sources. Over a period of time, some manufacturing may change the raw materials from natural resources to synthetic materials or some other imported item, so that the previous place is no longer used. Then now, a porcelain factory located close to a raw material source, porcelain factory. As if that over a period of time, they change the technology now after 2-3 decades. Now they are manufacturing using some important material. So that they might change factory to a convenient place. Changes of market demand would also require, would also affect on location. So it could be within a country or within a region or across the globe. When the market is changing, if you want to manufacture close to the market, you have to change the location and go to the now assume medium scale factory. Let's say biscuits factory would be the personal care products, food, particular powder and another bit again. spices, small to medium scale spices manufacturers. When they expand their operations and they now try to operate island-wide, so that the previous place they no longer profitable and useful. They may come closer to the commercial hub in Colombo and try to operate from Colombo, close to Colombo, not from Anuradhapura, not from Madhara. Can you understand? Just to expand their businesses when the market is expanded. So in the same manner, some companies operating from here to India or other South Asian region, they might decide to, if they expand their markets, they might decide to expand their facility locations there. Same way it's applicable for multinational companies also. It's from regions, continents, that is right. Toyota, for example, when they heavily depend on the export markets like Europe and US, and for which they need to supply closely, immediately, they have immediately decided to shift some of their factories from this region to there and relocate and produce close to the market, assemble close to the market so that they can fulfill the market demand faster. Which is important. When the market changes, locations should be changed. And the same way, due to various other reasons like new product introduction, and more importantly, due to changes in economic conditions, political conditions, locations should be changed. So we can understand it if you look at the Sri Lankan condition in the last 2 to 3 years, probably 5 years. In fact, that trend has been there. But we call factory relocating. Most of the factories previously operating from here because they have other advantages for them. First advantages for them, labor, and then energy, and various other utilities. Sri Lanka was considered as a kind of location that has locational advantage. Transportation, marine transport. That is no longer there. So what most of the manufacturing firms have started doing now, relocate. There are factories from here to Bangladesh, Pakistan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Southeast Asian countries. Because there are more advantages than here. When economic conditions getting changed, political conditions getting changed, those location changes. Right decision should be made at the right time. Now it is, as you may be aware, practicing accountants, as you are aware, as a measure of risk mitigation, they now follow this location change, relocation, risk mitigation. Factories no longer depend on one country; they operate from different countries. And then, of course, due to natural disasters, tsunami, flood, fire, whatever. Okay, and in addition to that, maybe civil riot or war. Between Ukraine and Russia, this war, many global supply chain industries have affected. So refer to various different agricultural products, to various different technology products. Because Ukraine is one main country supplying many industrial products. So as Russia, very good. The war between these two and in the region, a lot of impact on relocating factories and so with that we can conclude it. Simply, the importance of location strategies from operations management. Can move to the next topic if you don't have anything. Go to that topic, some slides. Especially if you have some issues about your industry, like audit firms, accounting firms, financial services, and the content we discussed here, this is the right time to ask questions. Especially those who are connected to the meeting online, you can ask some questions. So you should be able to answer questions like this. Now, selecting one or two maybe manufacturing examples or service examples, if you can highlight, if you can explain the importance of location decisions from operation side, how the location would affect on the operational activities, operations of this. Can highlight the cost aspect, the revenue aspect, and these are the operational concerns, and accordingly, how important for a business to decide better locations for their operations facility. You may have your example and your point to justify that. And then, of course, for different industries, different location factors are relevant. You should be able to describe what are the different location factors relevant for different industries. We discussed a few. What we mean by location factors, and for different businesses, what key location factors are relevant. For an example, like garments manufacturing, apparel manufacturing, the location factors are different. And a restaurant or a hospital, automobile factory. We wrote it divided into two categories, what we call cost focus and the revenue focus. So, location factors can broadly divided into these two cost related factors, revenue related factors. And then of course towards end we discuss when to select the right location, what decision making process is relevant, and then some techniques to evaluate. To practice one or two such calculations, sometimes this is the calculation. Do that. To know. Finally, we understood another reason for change in the location. probably and it at least we go to the top topic so that we can quickly move to this topic. I think we have at least 4 more weeks, 4 or 5. So, more than that, I don't think so. Okay, so altogether 12 weeks, right? We have for extension groups, we have 12 weeks, right? 12 week sessions. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out what are the important areas. So we will quickly cover these 2 areas today. And then try to consider some other operations management topics like quality management. And then of course we did discuss supply chain management, right? We did. No. Quality, supply chain. So it's a huge subject that has many different topics. For your requirement, we will focus on the key topics that you have a simple idea. There are 2 process related topics, this one and the next one. Then quality management. I think you are anyway, we have one topic on production operations planning. We did discuss about capacity planning. Capacity planning. That will be another important thing. So likewise, at least 5 more topics will be complete. Meantime, let me know, conceptually knowing any specific operations management topic, like project management or any other, you can cover. I will open the course content and let me know. Want to discuss some other question. Hello. We will be having convention during the second week of July, right? Actually, second week of July. Next, अब क्या करेंगे इसमें? Because coming weekend you will have exams and you have hard exams. There are specific understanding, right? So we cannot discuss that. Operations management is a kind of subject. If you have this simple idea, you have a simple idea and then theory part, you can develop an answer. Market to sale. That is the answer, but something like so. That is qualify knowledge. Right. This is not a big area of very difficult area, but very important area. Let's quickly cover that part. This topic is called process selection that covers an important area of operations management. Now we can't talk about operations management without talking about processes. That is that important. Now processes. This term is a common term we use to refer anything. Right? But in operations management, we use it for a particular purpose. Process. Now here we try to discuss about one or two process related decisions. One main area is what we call process selection. Although the scope is broader, we will discuss only few things. We will initially identify the importance of this decision, what we call process selection. What it is, why this is important. Thereafter, we will try to identify what are the different process types available in different industries for different purposes. So they are different in terms of their characteristics, their advantages, in which industries they are used and all. So we will identify what are those implications of different process types in manufacturing and then of course service. Both practical content, practice, and theory. Practical care and you will understand the practical side of it very easily. But the theory part, in the subject, there should be a theory part. Right? So we will quickly identify the theory component also. What are the basic concepts related to processes and processes. Now, in your understanding, for what we can consider a process, what is a process? Many different ways we use it everywhere. For a moment, if we think, from our subject side, operations, like, what could be the meaning of a process? The way that we do something, especially in our area, that is operations, to relate that, what we talk about in operations? Hello? What we talk about in operations? Producing products. In service industries, creating and delivering services. So, in our context, what could be the meaning, as you correctly pointed out, the way that products are manufactured, the way services are created and delivered. We're going to talk about that. Write it down because you don't get that simple idea. The way how a particular production activity arranged. In service industries, the way the service is created and delivered. That is the service process. Now, in operations management, when it comes to processes, there are different areas to consider, but at least these two, what we call the technology side of operation, management side of operation. There are two aspects. Technology side of processes for the engineering side. Engineering side of the processes, and then the management side. Management perspective on process. About this, we are going to talk now. Can you understand what we mean by the technology side of processes? Simple term. How a particular product is manufactured may vary from industry to industry. So the manufacturing processes are different because of the technology they adopt, they use in production processes or service creation and delivery. Say one example. At garment factories, how garment items are manufactured. There's a technology behind it. So kind of manufacturing processes used for that, and that is different from, let's say, fabric manufacturing. Both are related, but two different industries. Fabric manufacturing, they manufacture fabric. Its output is used in garment manufacturing, and then garments, finished garments are manufactured. Two may use different technology processes. Can you understand? Furniture manufacturers use different technology. Automobile assembly use automotive technology. Electricity generation processes use electricity, what we call it? Electrical engineering. Electrical engineering. Technology part of it. That could be vary from industry to industry. In services, is that same? Do they use different technologies for different services? To a great extent, yes. Now, say for example, in hospitals, they may depend on various different technologies. When they create different health solutions and delivering them. Laboratory services to surgeries to various other healthcare, they depend on different technologies in their process. Airline services, they deploy different types of technologies. Aviation to aircraft, aviation to ground handling to various, they use different technologies. What I mean to say here is that in terms of technology, processes are different in different industries. And it's very specific. The operations manager should handle that part of it. But in management, when we talk about it, we are not going to touch upon that area because that is too technical and beyond our control. And for that, operations manager should have the competency in that relevant technology or engineering background. And that is why most of the operations managers are coming from the relevant technology background, engineering background. Like you are coming from the accounting background, financial management background, right? In that knowledge, you are not going to manage operations there. Manage operations, you have technology background, engineering background. Clear? It could be varied from industry to industry. However, in business education, when you talk about operations management and when you talk about processes, we pay attention to the management side of processes. In the sense, in different industries, how the processes are used to manage. Management systems. Management systems. Now we try to use the technology and whatever other resources for generate profits. More and more profit. And for that, what we should do, we should be able to capture market opportunities and then supply products or services as per the requirements of the market and generate more revenue and earn more profits. And for that, you should have used the right process. How to make process decisions accurately. So in this topic, we try to understand only that part of it, the management side of it, not the technology side of processes, but the management side of processes. Can you understand it? In general, we say process selection decision in operations management, or in manufacturing, or in operations management refers to deciding on the way production of goods should be organized or will be organized. Production of services will be organized. Every time when a new product is designed, they should work on designing a process. We call it process design. Do you remember? Right. And that is called process engineering. To specify step-by-step process how this product is manufactured. So that every time when a new product is designed, a new process should also be specified. Accordingly, how product will be produced will be configured. However, over a period of time, when the technological aspects getting changed and market aspects getting changed, they need to make some adjustment to the process. That is what I mentioned here. So these decisions are applicable when new products are being planned or introduced, and also when any periodical changes are required due to technological changes or due to market or competitive pressures or equipment changes or whatever. This is a key decision, process selection decision, a combination of both technology and management, right? It's a key decision that may affect many other decisions. That is the meaning here. Process selection has major implications for various other operations and business decisions. So some are mentioned here. Now, as you can see it here in this slide, we are talking about process selection here, which is closely linked to what we call operations capacity. We haven't discussed that topic yet, right? But for the time being, you can understand operations capacity. That means what we can produce maximally. Right? The output volume that we can create. It depends on what process types we use. And these two decisions are very much interlinked. Are they important? Is capacity important, operations capacity important for a factory or service organization? Yes. That determines whether we can supply the right quantity to the market without any failure. So capacity and process selections are very much related. When we talk about that topic, you will understand further. When making this decision, both actually, there are many factors to consider here and accordingly decide how they should be arranged. Especially factors like these. Hope you can understand it. It's just a summary. What you should know. What we mean by forecasting here? What we mean by forecasting here? Well, that is the demand. The demand forecast for your output. We're talking about manufacturing. Now, your capacity decision, your process decision should be heavily dependent on the market focus for your product. Could be one product or many products. For an example, Colombo as an example. One of the leading furniture manufacturers in Sri Lanka, producing a range of furniture items. They should have accurate sales forecast for different furniture categories and accordingly decide the capacity levels required. I think now they have already established 4 or 5 factories island-wide because the demand has been growing fast. And they are planning to expand their operations to other neighboring countries. So they have already decided to expand their operations. Reading that. So they have made right choices about capacity as well as the processes, considering the market demand for their product categories. Now, small, let's say medium scale, very simple example like Ferrer and Sons, bakery product. They have kind of medium to large scale operations now here in Sri Lanka, but mostly still considered as medium scale. Okay. So medium scale operations. They have many outlets, and using their facility, they prepare food items at certain places and they distribute them to other outlets in an efficient manner. So, one of the best examples in Sri Lanka, how they successfully expand their business. So they have a fair assessment for the market demand, and the right processes are being used. Can you understand? Compared to that CPA, they also produce some cake items. Do they? Cakes like that business at CPA before under the brand name of Tiara. Right. They're large scale factory, large scale business catering to the entire market. So their production facilities, their capacities, their production processes are different from current size. Can you understand? Because they know the market demand. They plan how to take it. Very smart. In addition to that, technological changes, the technology used in processing, different businesses they use. Now, how cake would be baked, that is same. But different industries, different businesses may have different technologies. Our small scale family business undertaking catering or let's say baking baking orders, how they do it and how Ferrer Sons doing it and how at Tiara factory they are doing it, the technology they use different, right? Can you understand it? I'm going to just cake baking. How a lady managing at small scale, how that person is baking cakes, and how at Ferrer Sons they are baking cakes, and how at Tiara they are baking cake. The technology is different. Hope you can understand. Feedback product design. What type of product you are producing? And accordingly, other decisions will be taken, especially the process. Now, if I continue with the same example, do you know any person, any lady involved in baking birthday cakes, wedding cakes, and all? Probably you may know one or two individuals. Right? So, what type of products they supply to their customers? Customized, let's say birthday cakes, right? And different designs, different flavors, different designs, customized solutions there. But at a place like Ferrer Sons, few varieties are there. If you want, you can order some customized orders. It might take a little longer time, by the way. Otherwise, you can go there and just buy what is available. So, as that places like that. So, if you want customized products, they might provide, but it takes longer time. Otherwise, you can go there and take what is available there. When you think of a bakery like Tiara, actually, They do not provide customized solution, but they provide standardized solution. Standardized in terms of flavor, in terms of quantity, in terms of size, standardized. Can you understand it? So considering such factors, what processes to use, what according to what capacities. Understand it? So these are very much linked. Like I explained is that when making process selection decision, managers should consider such aspects seriously. Careful. There can be many other factors also. We just like now, once these decisions are made, including what we call process selection, there are many other operations decisions that get affected. These decisions affect on the other operations. Very important, like now the way you design the processes and then capacity would dictate or would specify what facilities you need, what equipments you need in the factory. Facilities, size of the buildings, premises and everything. Plus equipments, machinery. Our lady, small scale, how she is managing baking processes, that is different from how at the runs of the baking plant. Equipments, machines used and everything. Yeah. Now, facilities and equipment. We'll talk about the other one also now. Layout. You see, well, how you arrange your resources within the building. We call it physical resources. We have to place them to complete the processes on it. We will have that topic also. So we call it facility layout. Very important. That affect all faculty students affect. In fact, that will be the next topic. Not only that, another area like work design. Most of the operational activities are carried out by workers, right? Employees, operating level employees. Now, what we mean by work design is how those workers are completing that. What they should do, how they should do it. Professional workers are doing and how they are doing it could be determined based on the process selection as well as the special process selection. Do you understand? So hope you understand simply. This is a very important decision that should be decided considering various factors. Right? And once this is decided, it affects on many other operations. Clear? So this is just to get an idea. Take these decisions. Of course, senior level managers with the support of operations experts. Senior managers with the support of technology experts and operations managers. So as financial experts and accounting professionals, you will have to give your observations, comments, approvals for their process decisions. Better to know a little more about. accounting professionals, right, accounting practitioners, will have to contribute to those decisions. Then we will have to approve, evaluate, and approve. Probably within an hour or so, we'll try to quickly cover the technical part of it. Now, that will also help you to organize your operational work in your area. Any big question you want to ask from me? Anything that is not clear? Natia. I will take another 5 or 10 minutes to be take a break. Is the break first? How long you will be there? To take the break. That is another. Now before 10:05, we can have a break now. That we can have 1 hour. It's a break. So have a meet around 10:05. Around 18 to 20 minutes. Is that enough? Okay, Pak. Di bagi kamu paham dari aku ya ini itu online kita kenal tentang itu dan juga
Pakai teknologi itu boleh. Pakai
ini
ini antu kan deh.
ada kan
Oke, ini tidak.
itu yang kita nanti memang kita berada
Sistem bisa.
di
Oh ya, itu. Oke.
Game of Thrones. Really appreciate your game time. Especially here, both parties. Both parties. Yes, I like it. For the assignment, do you have any user in submitting? But to submit the report before midnight tomorrow. As I told you, if there are individuals or groups struggling to finish it yet, just ask me to contact me after tomorrow 8:30 p.m. You won't be able to upload to the LMS so that they will have to contact me personally and send me, but still ask them to contact. Yeah. The assignment. The assignment is based on service process improvement. No, not necessarily, but it's really like if you feel like you can incorporate some of these concepts or practices there, perfectly all right. But main concern should be on the existing operations activities in the selected organization. Then some of the main issues to identify, and then how you recommend them to overcome. But over some of the existing issues, you could use some of these service design concepts. Service design concept. I can remember especially a technique like service blueprinting or process flow charting kind of techniques at the existing service processes. Identify strengths and weaknesses, and then suggest a better service process. That also you can map show a blueprint. So compared to the earlier one, this is the new one. So how this you consider as an improvement? What is the any other issue? Since we the next lecture will be starting 12, right? So I think we started a little late, so try to continue till 15 or so. Right? So, the class. Now, coming to this topic, we just identified process-related decisions are very important. Right? And when making such process-related decisions, the maker, stock management, and the technology expert and operations managers should work together and consider various different factors relevant for their operation. From market demand to technology side to type of product you are going to produce to the capacity requirements and many other decisions, many other factors. Accordingly, make the process decision, and that consequently affect on the other operations decisions like facilities needed, machines, equipments needed, layout, then of course the type of work arrangement and everything. This is an important decision that you understand. So, on that background, we need to quickly cover this theory part. That's about different process types and their characteristics, their advantages and all. And then you can understand where they can be used. You may be familiar with these concepts already. My responsibility is just to remind you. We're going to talk about different process types. Different process types. Now, if you look at different textbooks, you will identify different categories, different classifications. However, the classification we are going to use here is based on, this is the most popular classification for classifying processes. This depends on two criteria. You will understand it, that's why I'm explaining. So there are two main criteria, process-related criteria used to classify processes. So what are those two criteria? We call it one process volume, one process criteria, we call process capability. Volume is very simple to understand. What is it? Now, some processes they can produce only small quantities, small volume. Likewise, there are some other processes they can manufacture, they can create medium volume to high volume to very high volume. That is one criteria. One process capability that they use here, process volume. And the other one is, we call it process variety. That you need to understand. Variety. Well, do these processes produce one type of product every time, or different outputs at different times? That is what we call the variety. Some processes are just capable of producing the same product again and again and again. So variety is low. There are some processes are there, they can produce different varieties and different types. So varieties rate or high or very high. So those are the two criteria we use to classify process. One is process volume, other one is variety. Write it down. Any quick questions? Now, accordingly, basic types of processes. For manufacturing, they identify these 5 waves or 5 categories. Namely, front-end process. Second one, job shops or jobbing. Third type of processes, we call it batch processes. And fourth one, known as mass processes, so popularly known as assembly line processes. These are different cooking levels. And the final one that is called function process. For service processes, they classify them into 3, namely professional service. This is the theory part. Service shops process. That one is called mass service. So now, in relation to 2 criteria, we identified about process volume and variety. This is how the 5 different manufacturing process types can be mapped. Like with the volume and variety. How different manufacturing process types can be classified. So it summarizes nicely. If you can understand it, that is it. You will not understand it now, but when it comes in, you will understand. And but you see the other side of the slide, these are the services. Aligning with the process volume and variety, this is how service process types can be compared or mapped. Right. Now, in terms of volume, process volume, from this end to that end, volume is increasing. So, project to job to batch to mass to continue. Volume is increasing towards that side. And variety, reducing from this end, to this end. But if we start from here, variety is increasing from here to here. Variety is low here, but high here. Can you understand it? In a way, that is how you understand. So, as in services, volume low and towards this end high, and variety is low here and high here. Then we need to quickly discuss these process types, 5 for manufacturing, 3 for services, and quickly identify what are the different terms. And more importantly, where to use them. With some practical example. Okay. Not just to answer in the final exam, but to get an idea how practically you can understand processes. So, how they are different from each other, and where to use which one. You can easily answer the final question, but understanding is the most important thing. Now, are we ready? Now, in processes, as you already identified in our first topic, in operations processes, what we need and what we process. Operations inputs. Remember, for our study purpose, we again theory part for our understanding, we divide operations resources into 2 categories. Hello, 2 categories. One we call transformed resources, and the other one is called transforming. Right. So in operations, what we process? Transformed or transforming? Well, we only process the transformed resources. Do you remember? Because transforming resources are the ones we use in the process to transform, like to processing purpose, like facilities and staff and all. So those are the transforming resources. But what we process in operations, transform, which are of three types. Do you remember? There are three types of transformed resources: materials, customers, and information. So in almost all the operation systems, we see any combination of these three. We process. Most of the manufacturing industries, which is the most commonly used transformed resource. In manufacturing industries, hello, out of these three, materials, customers, and information. What is the most commonly used transformed resource? Materials. That you all will know. In services, customers for service. Clear? So in these processes, what they process in manufacturing, mostly the material. In services, in the customers, for services or together. That is what they process. Let's take each of these process types and see their characteristics and where they are used. Right. Take the first one, project. There are a lot of information here. You may not understand everything, but you know about projects. Please little more. Are we talking about product manufacturing or services? Products here. Manufacturing. So there's a project process type, we call it project processes. With a very simple idea. Right? In project processes, we process only one item. At the end of the process, how many products we produce? Only one. Do we produce the same product again and again in project processes? No, not necessarily. We produce different outputs, which are designed and manufactured according to customer requirement. Such processes we call project processes. So what are the two main characteristics? Only one item we produce. Right. And that is also according to the customer requirements, highly customized product. So there are some businesses, some operation systems, their business, their operation requires such. They produce customized, highly customized, one output at a time. So they require what type of processing? Projection. Do you know of any business producing the highly customized product one at a time? So it's cars, right? Could be not commercial vehicles, but highly customized one at a time. Each selling for very specific customers, highly customized automobiles like Rolls Royce, right? And configurations would be different, design specifications would be different, and likewise they produce customized cars which require project to a great extent. Right? Likewise, any other industry, construction firms. Each construction is unique. Could be a building, a few stories, could be a shopping complex, or could be a highway road or a bridge. Each construction is unique, and they need to design it step by step, complete it, and that is high construction. So they are processes of project processes. So that what type of operations management is required there? We call them project management. Project management. The operations are more into project management. Unique. They need to carefully plan and design the project, and then organize the resource requirements and according to the time, and then implement the project, complete each phase, and complete the project. Constructing brokers. And more importantly, if we just think of a commercial example, shipbuilding, ship manufacturing. Here we have one of the lucrative business here in Srilanka. We call it Colombo and we Colombo. No, just Google, even in YouTube, you will get a lot of detail. They're known for customized ships. Each ship they build is designed to customer requirement, right? And for bulky product, that phase by phase they complete and then which require project process. Now, you feel like project processes are used to manufacture bulky, complicated, big outputs, right? True, to a great extent, but even for small scale products or small products, sometimes we might use project process. That is that simple, right? Even small products, if they produce only one, that is customized, we require but. Assume now bakers, there can be bakers taking customized wedding cake or particular design. So to design it and bake it and decorate it and finish it, it requires something called project. And customize one output. Clear? Display boards. Display boards. What do you mean by display? You mean to say that in front of shops, name boards and all, right? So they are because generally say right? But for certain years, say now name boards reminds me some another example. Let's say now there are I don't know what we medical manufacturing, plants and all. You know now to appreciate someone's beauty for the plants and all. So sometimes we might think only one plant, right? That has a different design and content and all, and we give that to a plant manufacturer. They manufacture only one plant at a time. In that case, yes, such manufacturing may require project prototype. When it comes to name printing and all, sometimes depending on the requirement, they might use different processing. Like say now Coca-Cola sponsoring name boards for let's say 50 drops. So they may come up with and they may give that to a name board manufacturer. They might not produce them individually. They may produce them small batches. So that the next time. And they then later customize. Names may be later print, but initial production process maybe is job shop or a batch. We can't generally say that. We have to go and see what type of process they are using. So hope that is clear. So not necessarily for bulky or complicated products, even for small products, if we produce only one and highly customized, we might require project. What is the main advantage of this type of product? Operational advantage, business advantage, as you understand. What kind of competitive advantage? Because every process has different competitive advantage. Here, what are the main commitments? Main advantage. Unique products. Each output is unique, highly customized. This is the main advantage, main competitive advantage. There can be many others. Can you think of few? Highly customized. So that you can meet the exact customer requirement. This time, there are some disadvantages, main limitations. Can you think of one or two main limitations here? Thinking about the process and operation side, basically. What are the main limitations or disadvantages? First would be, would that be more efficient processes? No. Project processes result in higher operating. So per unit production cost is relatively higher, the highest compared to other people. First thing, I mean, very. So other than that, efficiency is high again. Wastage is very, right? So efficiency is very low, wastage is high, and all these reasons result in one outcome is higher per unit. In terms of volume, very low. That is another thing. Probably only one. But it is suitable when the demand is very low. Now, there comes the second one. We call it jobbing process. Have you come across this before? We call it job shops. Another name. So another manufacturing process. We call it job shops or jobbing process. Main characteristics, if you look at here, jobbing process. In terms of volume, that is little more higher than the project. Right? Can you understand it? Jobbing in terms of volume, little more higher. And variety high. Can you understand it? You need to understand. Some factories, some manufacturing, they really depend on this. We call it lot production. What is it? Lot production or unique production. Sometimes they produce only one item, maybe few items. We call them lot. Small quantity together. Each time they produce different outputs with changeable specifications according to customer requirements. These are used to produce customized products. Not necessarily one now. Sometimes we produce only one, but few. We call them a lot. A small batch. Is very useful in most of the industries, especially when the output requirements are the demand is relatively low and customers require customized solution. So the earlier one, the plant manufacturing, they now plant manufacturing. Have you been to such places? They manufacture flags and all, various flags and various ornaments and all. Right? In the outer. Most of them are traditional businesses. Right? They use traditional processes, traditional technologies without having any idea having many considerations. But the technology they use there is job shops. In manufacturing plant, let's say now as a customer I go there, I give them the template for the design. Accordingly, they select one design would be there and then go for the production. So I might require only one plant compared to 3, 4, 5, even 25. So they process it together. Oh, 34. The same manner, let's say now airplane manufacturing. Helicopters or airplanes, and Boeing or Airbus. What type of orders they get? From where they get orders? They are like Boeing or Airbus. They get orders from airline services. More companies operating out aircraft. So at a time, do they get only one item? At the time, no. Each aircraft, airline, they order 3 aircraft, 5 or 10, depending on their need. And each airline service may require something unique. Their brand, for their branding purpose, for their operating requirements, they place. Aircraft manufacturer may have few designs. The airline service will come and say, okay, we are going to get 5 of these aircraft or 8 of these aircraft. Right? Now, assume that they got a order of 5 items of the same aircraft. Should they produce one by one separately, or would they produce them all 5 together as a small batch, which is more economical, which is more efficient? Producing all 5 together as a small batch save time, reduces wastage, and with a shorter time period, they can manage. So they deploy this technology. What is it? You can understand if the demand is changing and small, and then each time they require different outputs, they use. Have you used this in day-to-day life? They produce something. That is how you should understand. Did you use it? Now assume, have you made sandwiches from this? One sandwich, right? 51. Tasty, everything filling together. Right? You make one, right? The process you use can be described as project. If you produce only one, that is highly custom. Right? You just use a project step by step. Now you are good at it, you get a small order, right? You now got 2 orders, maybe 20 egg sandwiches, and then 15 thin sample time. Just as it. Now, are you going to prepare 20 egg sandwiches separately, or together you will complete it? Together, right? So, you make all the filling and everything together for 20 items, right? And then complete them together as a small batch. So complete all 20 together. And you go to this next 15 of some sandwich and complete it together. So that you can increase the volume. Okay. Each time you prepare different things. Next time you get another order, oh, exactly. Or maybe chicken that, so whatever. When it comes to operations here, the person who involved in these processing should be able to complete more tasks. So we call them a skilled jobber who can complete different processing steps. Skilled jobbers should be used in such a way. Or a team should be used to complete different phases. Because work content is huge. You will compare it with other processes. Hope this is clear to some extent. So we will understand it, then you understand the other also. Coming to the other, we call it batch process, which is most commonly used processing type in manufacturing, in most of the consumer products and industrial products. What is the name? Batch process. As the term implies, items are processed as batches. Now, earlier one was also batch. So, I mentioned the name, but there the size of a batch is small. Here, the size of a batch is relatively medium to high. Volume is higher. That is it. Size of the batch is relatively high than the job jobs. And variety is limited. I mean, in job jobs, more varieties were there, but here they produce only a few varieties, selected items. In little higher volume, medium volume. So most of the products from FMCG products to fast moving consumer goods, most of the consumer packaged goods, we call them CPGs, like what? Canned products, packaged products, milk powder to beer cans to water bottles to packaged items. And then, of course, many other durable products like electronic appliances, like refrigerators to televisions to the items. And then, of course, many equipments are produced using batch products. So that they can produce a limited variety, volume, in the demand is in practice, I observed some companies using it so much, but yeah. Business manufacturing, yeah. If you go to CBL, right, they use that production because now say under CBL there are different brands of biscuits, cream cracker to chocolate cream to Marie to various other. And then of course one product category there are different sizes. Let's say cream cracker, right? There can be 3, 4, 5 different sizes, packet sizes. So each time they produce on only one size as a batch. Then when they stop it, they start another batch. That is another size. As batches they produce. Thereby, they supply to the market without any limit. I do it. They continue to manufacture different sizes of plain cracker for 10 to 15 days. Right? Now, for next 3 months to 5 months, plain cracker requirement is done. They will then use the process for manufacturing some other aspects. Understand? So, this is the yes. So, and various other processes. Yeah. Yeah. Paste to brushes to understanding? So, this is the most commonly used. You use it. And you use it. No problem. Okay. Domestic purpose, we don't use it because we might use job shops. the volume requirements are very low. Job. But if you plan for business, you might require batch processing. Places like Ferrara and Sons, Fab and all, they make bakery items using batch processing. Because volume is relatively, demand is. So now, what type of operations are there? What type of workers would be required for batch processing? Well, these workers should also be able to complete different production processes. But they do not produce all the varieties here, only few varieties, right, in moderate volume, so that the requirements are little narrower than job shops, but still workers will be able to perform different tasks. And then what we call setups here. Changeovers are very much relevant. This type of, I hope we have come to this term. What is it? Setups, or what we call changeover. What is a setup? What is in manufacturing, in operation? What do you mean by setup? Very simple. Now, when you complete one batch of units, one batch. Hello. When you complete one batch, right? Let's say TRR, let's say biscuit manufacturing, cream cracker, family size package. They continue for 1.5 days, and now the batch is over. Before starting the medium size, they need to make some adjustment to the process. Some alignments. We call it recalibration. The process should be recalibrated. Adjust to the requirement of the next process, next batch. And that takes little time. Could be few minutes to few hours, depending on the setup requirements. Can you understand it? That time is called setup time. There can be cost involved, we call it setup. Focus in operation is to maximally utilize the resources, machines, production lines, and all. So what happens with the setup time? What happens with the setup time? Can we use that time for the production? No, we are going to lose that capacity. So what is advantages? What is the what is the requirement here for operations managers? Reduce the setup time as efficient as possible. Can you understand? So to get the maximum utilization of machines, production lines, factories, they should work on reducing the setup time. And use the capacity for production. Setups are unavoidable in batch processing. But by reducing the setup time, resource utilization can be very low. Most of you are coming from service industries. And in accounting, you involved in services, not necessarily manufacturing, so that are not relevant for you, but even services we call it batch processing. We will discuss it later. Especially in information processing, we use batch processing. Example. Although you all involved in services like accounting firm, audit firms. Sometimes not necessarily you process customers, but you process information. Let's say now audit firms. Is processor relevant? What are you processing? What is in business? So, information. Information. So can't we consider one engagement you get from a client as a project? Isn't that the way you complete them? Once at a time, right? Each client requirement is unique, scale, different, industry, different, client's requirements are different. So when you plan and complete an auditing assignment, you should plan it as a project. Can you understand it? So you plan it step by step, right? And you accordingly set the deadline for the complete project, and then you complete them phase by phase. And finally, complete them. Finally, what type of operations you see there? Project. Not job shops, not batch. You can't apply batch because each client requirement is. Within a project, sometimes you may use batch processing in certain operations. That is true. Assume that you process certain files together. Now at a bank, let's say now checks. Right. In one operation, what they do is, I will see second officers or bank officers. They check the they go through the check and then system and then process maybe 50 checks, 100 checks together, they complete that as a batch. So it is more efficient rather than just going through one by one, 50 items, 20 items, 100 items together as a batch. So that process. Clear? So that is the difference. Coming to the fourth one, which is most efficient and highly used. There is another one we call repetitive process or continuous process, which is the highest efficient. But this is commonly used, highly efficient process. What we call also known as assembly line. There the processes are organized in a different way. That gives them a competitive advantage. Unique competitive. You will understand. Now, as you see here, and did you watch some videos on the mobile assembly? Yeah, I think, right? So you can understand. Now, this production process is different. Now, there are different working steps here. Each workers are completing different processes parallelly. Processes are arranged as an assembly line. That type of processing is called mass process. I've been to a factory where they have deployed, they have used assembly line or something like this. So they are. See, I'll see. Now, what happens in a process like this? That's main economic concept they use here. In fact, this is one of the main innovation from the 1930s. They made, right? What we call moving assembly lines. In fact, in operations management history, this is considered as the second industrial revolution when they initially identified this technology. Industry 2.0. That is the invention of moving assembly by one of the leading automobile manufacturer, Ford Automobile. Ford. The revolutionary point. After that, many other industries have developed, have learned how to use it in different industries. So what happens here? What is the main economic principle behind this type of processor? Are you familiar with the idea? Something called division of labor and then specialization. What is that idea? That is the foundation of mass production. Who introduced that? Who came up with this idea? Division of labor? Father of economics? Okay. Economics for the foundation. With that, then you find into more details, right? Division of labor. What happens there? What is it? It will be correct, yeah? Okay. What to be divided? Hello? The result of this, we will get different jobs, but what to be divided? That is what we need to understand. What is happened there? What to be divided? Task. So considering what? Now there is a production process. Right? That production process is divided into small tasks, specific tasks. And that idea is called division of labor. And for each task, separate workers are assigned. That is the idea. Nothing else. The production process is same, but it is divided into small parts and assigned to each worker. So one worker is doing only small part repeatedly. So likewise, other workers are doing other parts repeatedly. And as a result, they get something called specialization. And as a result, the entire process output volume drastically improves. That idea is called division of labor concept, and as a result, the foundation of mass production. So you can understand operations management, that is the main idea. How to produce in large scale and highly efficient manner. And for that, this is the most recommended. The details are given here. There they use a technology called assembly line technology. So what happens in an assembly line? What happens in an assembly line? Production process is organized as an assembly line. So these steps are steps of production process connected to each other. Each workstation they complete certain things, they assemble, and at the end of the process, you get the final product. This is the technology, this is the management part of it. Now, what type of products we can manufacture here? Can we produce customized products in assembly lines? In a way, that is one of the main disadvantages, limitations. We will produce only standardized products. We cannot change products in traditional assembly line. how about the volume of the process? Output volume per hour output, per day output, per week output, relatively high. So for what type of products this technology, this processing type is useful, you say, you understand? Well, not necessarily in one industry, in almost all the industry this can be used. So if you think of the market demand, what type of market demand should be there for a product to use this processing technology? What type of market demand should be there? So, low or moderate demand for the product or high? What do you think? To use this technology? Demand should be high because our output should be higher. So demand should be there for your product. Otherwise, you unable to find. This is an expensive investment. You have to arrange it different. So for that, your demand should be relatively high. And in terms of standardization and customization, what type of product should be demanded in the market? If we have to provide standardized products, we cannot produce customized products most of the time. There are exceptions now with the technology and various other advanced in technology side. Now there are assembly lines. They are highly efficient in one side and still can produce customized products. That's an exception. But traditional assembly lines we manufacture customized. There can be manual assembly. What does that mean? Workers are used in the production line and manually completing the work. Next to that, there are automatic assembly lines, what we call automation, which means more equipment and machines are used in the production process, robo arms, robotic arms, completing different processing steps faster, efficiently. I think you remember one, two unit videos we watched. Automobile assembly, different robo arms coming and completing different tasks and moving the product to the next level. Likewise, especially at the assembly line, assembly plant. So automation is the next revolution in the production. Use of machinery and which wave of industrial revolution we are now in Srilanka, but in the world, at which way we are now currently the passing fourth wave, fourth industrial revolution, and third one primarily goes on this. And fourth one, that is what we are now currently, automated technology with sensing device. Sensing device. So that remote control, remote operating systems and all. And that will be over within next 5 to 8 years. And there will be next wave. Right? With AI and everything. Right? Even now, sensing devices and all. We're going to be faster with artificial intelligence and various other technology developments. Right? In no time, there will be the fifth wave. So technology is upgraded. So that manufacturing processes are becoming more smarter and efficient. Here, what type of workers are used in operations? Should they be able to complete the entire production process? What do you think? No, they are hired only for repeated small work. So they will be doing very small scale, narrow scale, repeated job. Understanding? This has been there for now 7 to 8 decades. This technology. Already. And these assembly lines, since they are producing only one type of product and dedicated for one production, there are no setups here. Every time the process is started and then assembly process will be continued. No setups. Unlike in batch production. Understanding? Where sometimes there can be certain adjustments and all that can be managed for time. Now, if I give you a little more details, factories like Toyota Automobile Assembly, known for highly efficient assembly plant. And there they have developed another capability. Aligning with this efficiency, they are capable of producing different outputs as well. Hello? Different outputs. Because of the technology they have developed. So, assembly lines, but they call flexible assembly lines. With the technology, they can quickly change it as well. The same assembly line can be used to produce different models, different specifications. And in no time, they can change from one product to another. So they call it flexible assembly line in total production system. So that sets a lot of standards for the global operations. That's not for their high efficiency. Now, in questions about this, can you see the difference between project processes to job shops to batch to now? So do you think now assembly lines can be used only in automobile manufacturing? In any industry that can be tried. Even at home you may try. Then, what type of product you should be producing if you are to use assembly line technology? How should be the demand? Demand should be very, very high. And are you going to produce different outputs? No. Standardized. That is that. Assume that for a dancer, right? You are going to prepare 2,500 sandwiches of same time. See some sandwiches, 2,500 items. Now, are you going to use your chops or batch? Not necessarily. You will arrange it as a hello. You will arrange it as an assembly line or probably few assembly lines with 3 or 5 steps. One, and each worker is doing small part and passing it through the line. At the end, you get the. This is how it happens. So, without knowing, we have applied it, right? Now, if you think of a place like McDonald's, earlier, McDonald's, developed factories. The demand for their buns, burgers, sandwiches, such, they need to efficiently supply. So they have arranged the burger assembling process as a 3-4 workers are just completing it. we send it from there. Hope you can understand. Coming to the last part of it, we call it you go to that we automation also. I'm not going to explain. Hope you can understand it. Right? Find more details about it. Coming to the last process type, we call it continuous processes. Now, this is the most efficient process type. Just like assembly lines, the process is divided into small tasks, repeated tasks. But there's one main difference here. In continuous processing, no manual work. Can you understand it? These processes are heavily dependent on machinery and automation. And the second main difference is that these processes are operated 24/7, continuous. And producing basically one type of product. It is standardized one type of product at this. That is the unique system. And we call this type of processes continuous. So compared to assembly lines, the initial investment requirement is relatively high. So, lot of machinery and automation, right? And initial investment is huge. We invest for continuous processes, what should be the basic criteria, basic condition for business to consider. What type of demand should be there for product development? Extremely high demand should be there. High and stable demand. Whatever the quantity you produce, you should be able to sell in the market. There should be extremely high demand to deploy this technology. How about the variety requirement? Are you going to produce different varieties? No. Standardized. Product life cycle, somewhere close to the maturity and decline stage. Yeah, you have to produce highly standardized products, highly efficiently. This is when this type of technology. So, if we get a few examples like oil refineries, they deploy continuous processes. Sugar manufacturing, plant manufacturing, electricity generation, it requires 24 solar power plant, 24/7. Chemical plants, water treatment plants, and many other highly capital intensive and automated. These processes are difficult to stop. Even for some repairs or some maintenance, it might take few days sometimes, like 1 or 2 weeks, to slow down and stop. They do the repairing or preventive maintenance, but we call it. Sometimes some setups, some changes are required as PA, preventive maintenance. You have heard of it. But if we have preventive maintenance, before actually the facilities are broken down, preventive maintenance, change of parts, oil, and recalibration and everything. Then again, if you want to restart, it takes few days to few weeks. So stopping and restarting is difficult and expensive. Not necessarily those products, even other products like high demanded pharmaceutical items supplied to manufacturers supplied to the global market, drugs to medicinal pharmaceutical products. They deploy continuous process. I would say Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, for which that's a stable, very high demand in Europe, in US. So I read somewhere now in one or two Mexican factories producing and bottling Coca-Cola, they use a continuous process. Cater to US demand is. Do they produce different products? No.
Excuse me,
No.
sir.
Please go ahead.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, what is the main difference between batch processing processes and continuous processes?
Batch processing
And continuous processor, like a Coca-Cola, we earlier know it is a batch processing, no?
well, it depends on the factory, right? And the facilities they are arranged. The one that I am referring here, a Mexican factory, let's say, if they are just using a continuous process here to manufacture and bottle the classic Coca-Cola, only that type, 24 hours and using continuous processing, right?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Maybe in another factory, right? Probably, let's say for an example, now here in Sri Lanka, the market demand is not so high, right? So they will be able to manage the market supply by having batch processing here in Sri Lanka for Coca-Cola. And meantime, they may use other batches to produce some other beverage products, not necessarily classic Coca-Cola, right? But in US and Europe, to cater the demand for the classic Coca-Cola, it might require a continuous process. That is what they understand it.
Okay, sir. Clear.
So, what is the main advantage here with continuous process? Operational advantages, as you can see. First, that is the cost advantage. So, with automation and highly efficient processes, what they expect is to produce products at the lowest possible cost. It's very important in the maturity stage of the product or decline stage because they compete based on the cost advantage. And on the other side, only this technology would help them, would enable them to supply very big quantity to the market. Volume requirement, volume is extremely high. This is the only thing. Let's say for an example, electricity generation. It requires oil refineries. It requires continuous. At the same time, one or two main constraints, main issues with this thing, main disadvantages. Yeah. One of the main point is initial investment would be extremely high. Size of the facilities and technology and machinery and automation would require huge investment. So only big companies who have investment capacity can deploy these technologies, can use this technology. And only to provide highly standardized products, this can be used, not customized. So, at the last point here, now we identified anyway, service processes are there. I will touch upon that when we meet next week. But anyway, now unlike location decision or any other, once they selected a process type for their factory, they should not keep it unchanged for a very long time. This is the key point. Now, should they change process types time to time from job shop to batch or from batch to assembly line product? At least within those three, should they change processes? What do you think? Yes, businesses should assess the market conditions and industry pressure and everything, and time to time make the necessary adjustments to the production process, and thereby get the advantage. That is what explained here. When the market demand is low and variety of items are required, probably a factory may try out job shop processing so that they can provide customized orders in small volume, small to medium volume, especially in the introductory phase of the product. But when the demand is growing faster, this may not be able to operate with the same job shop process. Instead, they should invest on batch processing activities and limit the variety, and each item should be produced in moderate high volume, so that batch processing would be useful. When the demand is further increasing during the maturity period and maturity phase of the demand, and then of course initial decline phase, sometimes converting the batch processors into assembly lines would be required. And as a result, they will be able to supply big volume, lower unit cost. That those changes would be big. Can you understand it? Those are the operational. Coming to decline stage, when one or two big companies dominating the market, probably to get the cost advantage, even they will have to go for continuous process, like for Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola. Commodity type product, no more varieties, no changes, but very high volume. They even require continuous flows sometimes, but at least assembly lines. So they can make the right fills at the right time and change it. And then, depending on the process types, they'll be able to supply the market. Depending on the process type, all the other operational concerns, like facilities to layouts to work designs to various others should be decided. Not only that, even the supply. Now, if you move from job shop to batch product, or batch to assembly line, input requirements be increasing. That you should have smooth relationships with your suppliers. Make sure the required materials, components can be transported to the factories to smoothly have production process. Likewise, can you understand? That is the when we start our lecture next week, I will briefly touch upon the service processes, and thereafter we move to layout. You can upload your group reports till tomorrow midnight. Thank you. Trying to attack and trying to communicate. Thank you. Yeah.